On today's Christmas Eve episode, I wanted to take a look back through the last quarter century to see who would be our all 21st century Diamondbacks.
You are Locked On Diamondbacks, your daily Arizona Diamondbacks podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, and welcome to the Locked On Diamondbacks podcast, the show where we talk nothing but the D-backs every day, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, now the #1 sports podcast network. I'm your lifelong D-backs fan and overly obsessed host, Daynen Biggs. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. If you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com and place your NFL live bets all season long. Today is a very special day because it's Christmas Eve. Merry Christmas. If you're listening to this after Christmas, I hope you had a wonderful Christmas. And we're going to talk about something that I've been wanting to talk about since starting this. Not since starting this channel, I didn't start this channel, but since taking over the channel, I have been wanting to talk about this, which is who would be our all-time team for the Diamondbacks. Because as I remember when the Diamondbacks first got started, I remember the 2001 season. I remember every season since, and all the highs and the lows, and all of the very impressive players that we've had on the team. And so I've been wanting to talk about this. And then I saw yesterday, another Diamondbacks podcast, the Aint No Fang Podcast from Arizona Sports, talked about this very thing. And I was like, well, okay. I was going to talk about this actually. Anyway, I was going to do the all-time team, but I liked how they put it. They were like, it's the quarter century. It's the end of the season. It's the end of the 2025. Let's look at the last. Now that we're at a quarter century, let's look at the last, the century so far and who would be on the team. And it also throws a little wrinkle into it because there are players that normally would have easily made this team that maybe not so much, actually, because their stuff happened before. Now, the Diamondbacks only have 1998, 1999, and 2000 that were not part of this century, because technically the century starts at 2001. So there are but those 3 years are really big for a handful of players that we'll talk about. But let's get things started by talking about our pitching, because we love our pitching, and pitching is very important. And we have a handful of incredible pitchers that we're going to go through. And I'm going to start with the obvious here. So first two, we have Randy Johnson, who I have a nice little figurine here of. It's a little bit broken. I need to fix it. But Randy Johnson is number one, obviously. Number two, I also have a figurine back there, but I haven't opened it yet because I'm scared to. But I do have a bobblehead. Number two is Curt Schilling. Shouldn't be a big surprise there. And then number three, I actually don't have a bobblehead or a figurine for. I should. I don't know why I don't. I have to go scouring for one, is Brandon Webb. So Brandon Webb and Randy Johnson are the only ones to actually win a Cy Young Award on the Diamondbacks. Curt Schilling, notably, got second twice behind Randy Johnson. So if it wasn't for Randy Johnson, Curt Schilling would have been a 2-time Cy Young Award winner. So that counts, I think. I think that counts just fine. And it shouldn't be, I mean, the things that they did, they were on the World Series winning team. That shouldn't be a question. If anybody disagrees with me in any way whatsoever, leave it in the comments and brace for people getting very upset with you, I guess, because I don't understand how you could disagree with that. You might put Brandon Webb above Curt Schilling or vice versa. I put Randy Johnson, then Curt Schilling, then Brandon Webb. That's my personal. So I can understand switching the two. But now the big question is who takes the two final spots. I also wanted to point out, I've had this cup for a good while. This is the 20th anniversary. So I've had this since 2018. And they did do a 20th anniversary all-team thing. I don't know what you would call it, lineup. And it's interesting to see how this has changed over time. So the starting pitchers on this were, unsurprisingly, Randy Johnson, Curt Schilling, Brandon Webb. And then it was Patrick Corbin and Zack Greinke. Now, both of them, I think, definitely deserve consideration. We have some other ones. We have Dan Herron. We have Zach Gallen. We have Merrill Kelly. I think that out of all of those, the two that I would want to see on the team, like, for example, Dan Herron, really, really good, short period of time that he was on the team. We also had Patrick Corbin, who had really good moments, but also not great moments as well. And then Zack Greinke, who had some pretty good moments as well. I think he is probably the closest thing to being on here, but I would have to give this to Zach Gallen as our number 4 and Merrill Kelly as our number 5. Zach Gallen, actually, I mean, he is one of the best pitchers in Diamondback history. Easily. Like, you look at the numbers, you look at the number of strikeouts, you look at the number of innings pitched, you look at the ERA, you look at the wins, you look at all that kind of stuff. Zach Gallen is definitely up there. He comes behind Brandon Webb and Randy Johnson, and he comes behind Curt Schilling as well, if you consider the fact that Curt Schilling wasn't on the team for quite as long. But Zach Gallen is no question. And then Merrill Kelly, I think, just barely beats out Zach Gallen, just because Merrill Kelly has had a bit more of success than Zach Greinke did, in my opinion. But that one, if you leave a comment and tell me that you think Zach Greinke should be on here instead of one of those two, specifically, I think Merrill Kelly, I think Zach Gallen's on here no matter what, in my opinion. But if you think that Zach Greinke should be on here, I understand that. The thing about Merrill Kelly, also maybe a little bit of recency bias, I guess, is that he is back on the team. He will be on the team for the next 2 years and could very well, I think he's 200 strikeouts away from being second on the all-time Diamondback strikeout leaderboard, which he could very well hit. I think he's likely to surpass Zach Gallen in nearly every metric that Zach Gallen leads in. So I think Merrill Kelly's got it and will continue. Like, I think if we do this again in a few years, he will be a no-brainer. Right now, he's a bit of a brainer. So I don't think I've ever heard that before, but yeah, a bit of a brainer. Anyway, now relief pitchers. We're going to pick 5 here. This all the 20th anniversary team, I believe, only had 2, which were Jose Valverde and Brad Ziegler. Both of them are going to be on here. That's definitely a fact. Jose Valverde had some rough years on the team, but mixed in with like absolutely incredible elite years. So he's on here. Brad Ziegler's on here for sure. I love Byung-Hyun Kim. He's got to be on here. I'll fight physically. Like, I'll fight physically anybody who wants to. Just let me know in the comments when and where, and we'll do it. But he was incredible. Super, super, super good. Like, undeniably incredible. Just go look at his like baseball reference page and you'll be like, whoa, that's nuts. And, you know, he blew the 2 saves in New York, but the reason he was put in the first place was because he was that good. And then the reason he was put in the very next game was because it was like, yeah, that was a fluke. There's no way, like, the trust in him was so high because of how good he was. So double fluke, crazy stuff. But nonetheless, so he's on there for sure as well. So I think Jose Valverde, Brad Ziegler, Byung-Hyun Kim. I am a big fan of JJ Putz. He was, I think, the face of the bullpen for a good while and just absolutely had it figured out. So I would put him in like a 4th spot. And then a 5th spot, I struggled to find a good 5th spot. Maybe you can let me know what you think, but I ended up landing on Archie Bradley. Just because of his energy and his love of the team and the sport and everything was really, really infectious and wonderful. And he's the reason like we made it to the playoffs in 2017. He's the reason in part the reason we made it to the National League Division Series in 2017. So yeah, I think he absolutely deserves to be on here. But also I was a little bit discouraged by like the lack of incredible bullpen arms that we've had I'm like 25 years. I feel like we'd have more than that, but I can't really think of anybody else that I'd be like, oh yeah, definitely 100% going on here. But let me know what you think because I'm sure I hope I'm missing somebody. Not to say that any of these guys are bad, but I feel like it should have been a bit like with the starting pitchers, there's like 3 or 4. I mean, there's even more guys that I think you could argue should be on this list. But with relief pitchers, I'm kind of like, I don't know that I don't think there's really anybody else. So anyway, but now we have a very fun, exciting thing to do, and that is to get into the position players because oh my gosh, this is so fun. This is gonna be awesome. And there's a lot of mix and matching here. So I'm excited to share that with you right after this short break. NFL Sundays move fast, one big play, and suddenly everything feels different. That's what makes live betting with FanDuel so exciting. You're not just watching the game, you're reacting to it in real time. With FanDuel, you can place bets as the action unfolds, every drive, every momentum swing, every highlight moment. Live betting is best when the game starts to shift. A receiver gets hot, a defense tightens up, or the momentum flips after a turnover. FanDuel lets you jump into the moment. Live spreads and money lines adjust instantly. Player props update as guys heat up. You can bet next touchdown scores, drive results, totals, and more. It keeps you locked into every snap, every drive, every possibility. So if you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com and place your NFL live bets all season long. FanDuel, the game moves fast, and so can you. And we're back once again, as I always say. Thank you for making Locked On Diamondbacks your first listen of the day. I appreciate you guys sticking with us through this off season, as it feels like not very much stuff is happening. I promise stuff is going to start happening, and this is the place to be when it does. So tune in because we always got fun stuff to talk about. And again, just thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. And thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network as well. So let's get into position players. I wanted to break this down a little bit differently. I wanted to go through each position and basically kind of just like comb through this century and identify the main players in each position and then go through and basically say, okay, this is the person. And a lot of these is very obvious. Some of them, not so much. So let's get into it. At catcher, in 2001 to 2002, we had Damian Miller, who was good for sure. Not all-star level amazing, but he was good. We had Chris Snyder from 2005 to 2009, who was also fairly good. Miguel Montero, who was a homegrown player, and we had him from 2009 to 2014. So 5 years, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 9, 12, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 6 years. Sorry. Math is hard when you're doing in years. So we had him for 6 whole years. And then after him, we had Carson Kelly for a few years. And then in 2023 until the present day, we have Gabby Moreno. Now, I'll tell you who my second favorite is, and that's Gabriel Moreno. We're going to have him for a very long time still. He is developing very well, and I think he's going to do a lot of really great stuff for us this season. And so long as he stays healthy, could really like have one heck of a career. But the answer is obviously Miguel Montero. Miguel Montero, again, he's a homegrown player here in Arizona. He played here for actually more than what I shared. He started in 2006, but his rookie season was 2007, but didn't get like the number or the main starting spot until 2009, which is what I said. So he actually was here for, oh boy, I'm just going to count this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 seasons. So he's here with the Diamondbacks for 9 seasons and incredible seasons as well. 2011, 2012 were some highlight years, 2009 as well. But in 2011, 2012, a WAR of 4.4, 4.5. He was hitting 2.83 batting average, 2.86 batting average, a slugging of 4.69. I mean, he was amazing. And then defensively, one of the best in the game at the time. After he left Arizona, he played for Chicago for 2.5 years, played for Toronto for half a year, the Nationals for 4 games, and then retired and has been working in the organization ever since. So he is, you'll see him in the dugout and helping out, and he is definitely the all-time catcher. I don't have a bobblehead of him, unfortunately. I should get one. Next at first base, this one was a bit weird because we have, I mean, this is an obvious one. I'll say that right now. But we had Mark Grace in 01 and 02. And then for the next like 10 years, it was kind of just off and on players here and there. Like nothing of crazy note. Like there were some good guys, don't get me wrong. Lyle Overbay, I remember. Chad Tracy played first base a bit. Who else was it? I think maybe Mark Reynolds might have played first base a little bit. I don't remember. I don't think he did actually. But anyway, nothing super notable until 2012 or 2011 really, when Paul Goldschmidt entered the game and absolutely destroyed it, becoming one of the most prolific first basemen in baseball, and was on the team for, okay, can I do this? Sorry, years are really weird. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 seasons with the Diamondbacks. The last 6 of them being he was an all-star. And he finished in the top 10, top 11, if you want to say this, top 11 of MVP votes 5 of those years. He did win the MVP in 2022, not with the Diamondbacks, but still, he is a stud. This guy's amazing. Also a homegrown player. In 2015, he had a WAR of 8.3. Now remember, like Perdomo had a WAR of 7.0 this last season, and everybody's freaking out about that. Probably mostly because it was kind of a surprise, but still 8.3 as a WAR is very, very good. At 36 home runs, 36 doubles in 2013. He had 33 home runs and 38 doubles in 2015. I mean, he got under 30 home runs like twice in this period. Like, just absolutely incredible. So that spot definitely going to Paul Goldschmidt. I think not a close second, but a second would be Christian Walker, who I think is very good as well. Christian Walker played from 2019 to 2024. So a very long period as well, and very good career here in Arizona, but doesn't come close to touching Paul Goldschmidt. Second base, this one has a bit more variety, a notable variety here. Jay Bell played second base in 2001. We had Junior Spivey for a few years. I have his batting glove somewhere. He gave it to a guy who then turned around and gave it to me at a baseball game. Of course, it was when he was playing on the Brewers, visiting in Arizona, but I was still a fan. but he played for a while. Craig Counsell was actually our main second baseman in 2005. Orlando Hudson played for a while. Aaron Hill for a while. And I was like afraid that this was like a recency. Like I was putting this list together just off the top of my head. And in doing it, I was like, there's got to be some better contenders here, but it really isn't. Ketel Marte gets this easily. Ketel Marte has been playing with the Diamondbacks since 2017, which means he's been playing for 9 seasons. So he's just finished his 9th season. And I mean, incredible. Absolutely incredible stuff. He is also, I mean, I don't think he's going to get traded. Full disclosure, I think he's staying here. It sounds like the talk is as well. That's not what we're talking about today, but the talk is as well that it looks like the consensus is he's likely going to be staying here. This last season was not one of his best, and he still really did. I mean, 28 home runs, 28 additional extra base hits. He missed quite a few games. I know there's controversies there, but whatever. I don't know. I don't care. And still had a WAR of 4.4. A lot of that was because of injury. Most of that was because of injury, not for whatever other reasons. But a batting average of 283, on base percentage of 376, a slugging of 517. So this guy absolutely killing it. His defense also has always been very, very on point. I don't know who else you could give it to. I guess maybe Orlando Hudson would be like a distant second, but which Orlando Hudson's also still in the organization as a coach. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, no, like Ketel Marte's got it. Even if he does get traded this offseason, Ketel Marte has it. Shortstop. This one was a bit trickier. From 2001 to 2002, we have Tony Womack. If you take Tony Womack and include the seasons prior to 2001, I think he has a much better shot at making this team. But because we are only counting this century, this millennia, I don't think it goes to Tony Womack. Stephen Drew played from had the position from roughly 2007 to 2011. Pretty good run there. Nick Ahmed, the player who, I mean, he's played the longest on the Diamondbacks of any player ever. And great defense. His offense not always there. And so again, another kind of case of recency bias, but the thing is, Geraldo Perdomo kind of has this one in the bag. He has in 5 years, he has a WAR of 13.7, and more than half of that was in this last season. Also, incredible. I mean, one of the best seasons any shortstop has ever had on the Diamondbacks, or the best season any shortstop has had on the Diamondbacks, and one of the best in all of baseball. Obviously not the best in baseball, but up there. And he's going to be here till what, 2031, and he's only continuing to improve. The question is, obviously, is he going to be able to repeat this? If he repeats this next year and does even almost as good, then set in stone, this guy is the best shortstop we've ever had. And it's possible that he will match or even improve on this last season. So I'm super excited to see more of him, and I gotta give the spot to him. I think if we were counting all time, I think Tony Womack might have him beat. It would be very, very close though. So Tony Womack, I think, gets the second here, but without those first couple seasons, I think Perdomo takes it pretty easily. And then third base was tricky. Third base, we got a lot. Let's go through that real quick, and then we will. Actually, you know what? So third base I had the most players on my list, and it was the hardest to figure out because, again, we're not counting 98, 99, and 2000. If we did, this would be very, very easy. But because we're not, it's not so easy. So we'll talk about that right after this break. Third base for the Diamondbacks. Who is the number one? Who is the best? And I'll tell you right now, I do have a Matt Williams bobblehead. He's right there. Wait, he's right there. You can kind of see it. If you guys are just listening to this, by the way, imagine I'm pointing to a bobblehead of Matt Williams in the background. I also have a Tony Womack right there. But because they're back there and not here in front of me, spoiler alert, that means that they're not on the all-time 21st century team. Matt Williams would 1,000% be the guy if it was the all-time team. Because Matt Williams was, I mean, one of the best, one of the best offensive players in baseball. I think that there is an argument that he should be a Hall of Fame candidate. I think he is one of the big, I mean, he set the tone, the standard for this Diamondbacks team. I think the reason the Diamondbacks look and act and compete the way that they do, the soul of the team, is very, very, very much because of him, because of Matt Williams. And for that reason alone, I still considered having him as the main third baseman. But let's look at everybody else. Craig Counsell was our main third baseman from 2002 and 2003, as well as 2006. But not him. I'll just say. We also had Chad Tracy in 2004, 2006, 2007. Our first, I think, I'll say, and then we have Jake Lamb, 2015, 2017. Very, very good couple years there, but I don't think he makes it either. It's between one of these three, in my opinion. It is between Mark Reynolds, who we had from 2007 to 2010, Eduardo Escobar, who we had from 2018 to 2021, and Eugenio Suarez from 2024 to half of 2025, right? And thinking off the top of my head, I'm like, it's got to be Mark Reynolds, right? I mean, another homegrown player, the first 4 years of his career, all with Arizona, were incredible. So good. I mean, if we had a Mark Reynolds right now, so many problems would be solved. He had, let's see, in those 4 seasons, I mean, he had his rookie season, 17 home runs, then 28 home runs, 44 home runs, 32 home runs. Amazing stretch, amazing power hitter, and then even more extra base hits to go along with that. A batting average in like 279, 260, slugging of 543 in 2009. It was very, very good stuff. Pretty high strikeout rate. I'll give him that. But if you look at like his WAR, you're looking at sorry, I should have done this math before. You're looking at like 5.5 WAR in 4 years. Is that right? That's about right. 5.5 WAR in those 4 years. The Diamondbacks made the playoffs in 2007 in no small part to him. And so I was thinking, okay, Mark Reynolds is probably our guy. And then I looked at Eduardo Escobar and I remembered, okay, well, Escobar played here from 2018 to 2021 when he was our main third baseman. And so we're looking at 4 years there. And his 2019 and 2021 seasons were incredible. Very, very good. The other 2018 and 2020, not so much, but 2020, that's kind of a given. But then I looked at Suarez. I just looked at his stats. I was like, he was only here for a year and a half. Like, And the first, like, he started 2024 not good either. Like, he struggled to start. And so I was like, there's no way. He had a 6.4 wins above replacement in less than 2 years that he was here. He had, like, let's look at this again. Sorry, I had to pull it up. In less than 2 years, he had 66 home runs here with the Diamondbacks. He had 49 home runs last season. 36 of them here in Arizona. He had the most home runs on the team, and he was only on the team for like half the year. Defense, very, very good, especially for like his age and everything, but the experience that he brought to the team, the extra base hits, the RBIs, this guy was incredible. And so my conclusion to this is, if I had to pick one of these guys to be on the team today and to be a part of this all 21st century team, it's Geno Suarez. I gotta pick him. I think a sort of close second is Mark Reynolds. I think he'd be not like nail biter close, but he's close. All right. Then we have outfield. This one will go a little bit quicker because it's a little easier to do. In left field, we had to start the millennia, we had Luis Gonzalez from 2001 to 2006. Spoiler alert, it's him. We had Eric Burns in 2006. 2006, he played in, like, I think it was center field. And then he moved to left field until 2009. We had Gerardo Parra in 2009 to 2011. Really good. Loved having him. David Peralta, I think, is our number 2 pick, which he definitely would deserve to be on this, but he just doesn't come close to Gonzo. It's not fair. It's not fair. And then currently we have Lourdes Gurriel Jr., especially once he gets back from his injury, who has been here since 2023. So now Gurriel, I think, has a shot to beat out Peralta for the second best. But yeah, it'd take a lot to beat out Luis Gonzalez, especially, and that's not even counting the seasons before 2001. You count those as well, it's so unfair, the competition. We'll jump to right field real quick. We had our Danny Batista, who was here from 01 to 04, Sean Green from 05 to 06. Who I have here as well. We had Justin Upton as 08 to 12, Gerardo Parra from 13 to 14, and then just a good while where we kind of were, the outfield was kind of a mess until 2023, when Corbin Carroll joined the team, was our main go-to. That was his first full season in the outfield and in right field, and is there to this day. And but with everything here, I was like, okay, Corbin Carroll probably has it, but let's take a look at Justin Upton, who I think has a pretty fair shot. He played here for 6 seasons and had a WAR of 13.8. Very impressive. Good stuff. 13.8 wins above replacement. Corbin Carroll in 3.5 years, has a WAR of 15.7. So in considerably less time, nearly half amount of time, has more wins above replacement than Justin Upton. And it really it's another one of those, like, Justin Upton's great. I would love to have him on a team any day, but Corbin Carroll has him beat. And then in center field, you could do this a few different ways. You could pick 3 outfielders, or you could do a left fielder, right fielder, center fielder. I'm doing a left fielder, right fielder, center fielder, because I feel like that's the thing to do. We have Steve Finley from 01 to 04, Chris Young from 07 to 12, AJ Pollock from 13 to 18, and we currently have Alek Thomas there since 2022. It's not Alek Thomas, though. I'd love to see him. I think out of all of these positions, center field probably is the most likely to flip, because we're not including seasons before 2001. If you include seasons before 2001, it's Steve Finley, hands down, 100%, no debate. But if you're starting at 2001, which 2001 was not his best season, actually it was like his worst season here, at least. And yeah, that was his worst season here in Arizona. But yeah, like 1999 and 2000, absolutely incredible. 2002, 2003, very good as well. But we're only counting from 2001 on. Chris Young, I really liked Chris Young. I enjoyed him. He's very, very, very good defensively. Offensively, not so much, but still pretty good. And AJ Pollock, really good stuff. Really enjoyed him when he was here, and then he left and kind of soured because he wasn't very nice to the fan base. So, so if I had to, I'm honestly, I still think that the winner here is Steve Finley. I think he wins the all-time center field position. I think that even without 2000 and 1999, you're looking at 2001, 2002, 2003, and even a good chunk of 2004. 2004, he played every game in 2004, by the way. Perfect attendance. But in 2004, he had 36 home runs, 23 on the Diamondbacks before getting traded, 22 home runs, 25 home runs. In 2001, his worst season on the team, he had 14 home runs, 27 doubles, 4 triples. 2003, he had 10 triples. Pretty cool. Defensively, incredible. And also, I don't have time to share it, but I actually met Steve Finley when I was a kid. Back, I think it was in 2004, and I'll share that story later because it's very funny. And but I did actually meet him out in the wild. It wasn't at a game or anything. It was at an airport, and saw his sons, and it was pretty funny. So anyway, I will share that next time. So be sure to subscribe if you want to hear that story. Maybe I'll share that story in the next episode. But you guys, anyway, Merry Christmas. I really wanted to do this episode for a really long time, and the Aint No Fang podcast did it before I could. So I guess go listen to them if you want to, or just stay here and it's fun. I'll just copy them anyway. So don't even worry about it. Just stay here. I'll plagiarize everything they do anyway. So it's just one-stop shop. But be sure to follow us on X, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at Locked On Diamondbacks. We're on YouTube as well as every other place you get your podcasts. If you want to see more of me, you can find more of my YouTube channels and projects at my website, slackshack.tv. Thank you for making Locked On Diamondbacks your first listen of the day. For your second listen, find the Locked On MLB podcast, where there is no off-season. Solely keeps you up to date on contract negotiations, rumors, and everything you need to be the most informed MLB fan. Find Locked On MLB on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Once again, thank you so much for watching. Have a Merry Christmas. If you're watching this after Christmas, I hope you had a wonderful holidays and Happy New Year and all that kind of stuff. And go Diamondbacks. Go Diamondbacks in 2026. I believe in them, and I think that they're gonna surprise a lot of people. So thanks again, and I will see you next time.